Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the Centennial of Tennessee State University, and we're fortunate to have with us to talk about the 100th year celebration of the birth of Tennessee State University, Dr. BLovett. Dr. BLovett is a longtime employee at Tennessee State University until his recent retirement. And of course, Dr. Lovett, I think that we don't have to tell our audience anything about you because you've been with us on so many occasions.
That's correct.
And so this time to talk about the Centennial of Tennessee State University. Let's start off, Dr. Lovett, by having you to give us some information about Dr. BLovett, to say something about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in terms of leading you eventually to Tennessee State University before you spent all of those years and finally retired. Let's talk about it from that perspective.
Well, I'm a native of Memphis, Tennessee. I graduated from Booker T. Washington High School in Memphis. I attended Arkansas A&M State College, where I got my bachelor's in history. And after that, I taught for a year in Memphis public school system, and then left and taught for 3 years at Eureka College in Illinois, the alma mater of President Ronald Reagan. And in 1973, I took the job at Tennessee State University because I wanted to finish up my PhD degree. TSU would allowed me to be off in the summer so I could go to the University of Arkansas. And I finished my PhD degree in history at the University of Arkansas. And I've been at Tennessee State University since September 1973, and I retired this last December 31st, 2000.
And you could make it sound so simple, Dr. Lovett, in terms of what you've been doing at Tennessee State University, your background as a dean and professor in history, and just an extraordinary individual, Dr. Lovett. And I'm glad that you're with us today. But let's talk about the celebration of the centennial of Tennessee State University by having you to give us some information about the status of education in a real sense in the southern parts of the United States before Tennessee State University was established in 1912. Let's talk about it from that perspective.
Well, I have completed a book called A Touch of Greatness, The History of Tennessee State University from 1909 to 2012. And that book is scheduled to come out next September, around about the time of TSU's homecoming. And I began the book, indeed, in the 19th century, explaining to the readers that, of course, before the Civil War, 90% of African Americans were enslaved. Nevertheless, even in Nashville, there were some schools run by, operated by free Negroes until about 1857. And Maryville College in Maryville, Tennessee, admitted blacks since 1833. Very few, but there were a couple of Negroes who graduated from Maryville College back in the 1830s. And in Nashville, Franklin College, it admitted and matriculated 3 blacks, all from Nashville, free Negroes. So there was some education, but most Negroes were, they were forbidden to be taught to read and write before the Civil War. However, when the Civil War came, of course, many missionaries came from the North, and they established schools, free schools, for former slaves or freedmen. And in Nashville, quite a few. Fisk University in 1865, December, opened in January 1866. Roger Williams University in 1864, which was called the Baptist College then, but Northern Baptists opened up that school in Nashville. And the Northern Methodists opened up what became Central Tennessee College in 1865-66. So there was some education, but not a lot. And of course, there was no public education, higher education for Negroes provided by the state of Tennessee, even after slavery.
Very good. And of course, Dr. Love, let us take this first commercial break, and then we'll pick up. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.